Howdy folks, I'm Darren, and welcome to 8th Day Chronicles here at Cross Timbers Farm. Glad to have you with us on this beautiful, beautiful mid to late April day, spring day.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer.
Gorgeous bluebird skies. We do have some high lofty clouds, but we had rain yesterday, more rain on the forecast for tomorrow. Today, while we can get outside and work and it's not raining, we're preparing for hay season. You notice I've got my Kubota L3200 tractor. This is a workhorse of a little compact tractor. Love it. This tractor has been a gem. Basically no problems with this tractor the whole time I've owned it. It's ran like a top. It's been sitting in the barn for on and off over the winter, and it has accumulated about an inch of dust all over it. Our barn has a dirt floor in the alleyway of the barn, and the wind can kind of blow through the cracks in that barn now, and it just covers equipment in there in dust. I'd rather have it covered in dust as I would to sit out in the UV rays of the sun all the time, or sit out in the snow and the rain. It's protected in the barn, but it does get really dusty. Today we're going to give this Kubota a bath, get it ready for hay season, get all this dust off of it. You can't even sit down in the seat and drive it much until you're just covered in dust too. We're gonna get that taken care of, but first, we're gonna go look at our test plot. And we're gonna talk specifically about some orchard grass today. And I'm blown away by how well our test plot is doing for this time of year, this early. Goodness gracious, we could just about cut now. This early in April, but we're gonna let this grow for another couple of weeks, get as much quantity of that quality that we can. First cut hay is gonna be steamy. Now how bad steamy it is depends on how far you let it go, but with early maturing varieties of orchard grass that we planted or frost seeded, not this past winter, but the winter before, we went with a variety that is a more early maturing variety of orchard grass, and some of it's already starting to seed head. In mid to late April, we're gonna go take a look at that. I want you to see the difference in these varieties of orchard grass. So first cut hay is gonna have some stems, especially if you have an early maturing variety. However, this early maturing variety has a very, very good leaf to stem ratio, meaning more leafy material than stem. We'll look at these different varieties. It's quite intriguing. Stay with us. Okay, we're out here in our test plot, and goodness, look how good this hay's looking. Can you see how tall this already is? It's amazing. Third, fourth week of April. We're in mid to late April, and I've picked two varieties of this orchard grass, and we're going to discuss the difference in these orchard grasses. Look at that. Boy, does that not look fantastic. Here is a variety of orchard grass right here. And look how leafy. Boy, don't that look fantastic. This is Potomac. I remember frost seeding this about 3 to 4 years ago. And very leafy Potomac variety of orchard grass is fantastic hay grasses, cool season grasses. You can see, I picked these out of two sections, bunch grasses, right next to each other. And I'm convinced after studying them, this one is the Potomac. Very highly nutritious, palatable hay for horses, goats, sheep, cattle, whatever. Everything, just love this stuff. You can see there is no seed head. This thing is, and I can feel up the stem. And really yet, I don't even, maybe way down here, right in there somewhere, is maybe a seed head starting to develop. All the way up the what stem is here, I can feel no seed head. None yet. Look how good that looks. All right. Next piece we have. This is what we frost seeded probably not this winter, but the winter of 2023 going into 2024. Can you see that? Already going out of the boot stage into the seed heading stage already. And it is April 23rd, I think today. Look at that. The stem, and you can see it's coming out of the boot stage into the seed heading stage. Very leafy material. And here's another leaf trying to come out right there as well. But you can see the seed head. This one's already out 1.5 inches. This early. Okay, let's see if we can find another variety. Or not a variety, another piece of this orchard grass. And one that's in the boot stage, but the seed head's just fixing to emerge. This one's already emerged. It's not into full bloom, meaning the seed heads is, bloomed out, but it's in the boot stage, late boot stage. Part of it's still down in this sheath of the grass. All right, let's see what we can find that's still in the full boot stage. Okay, let's take a quick walk out here and let's find some of this orchard grass that, now there is tall fescue in here and Timothy, but if you've messed around with orchard grass real long, you can start to tell the difference. Okay folks, right here is a big clump of orchard grass. Okay, can you see this? Look at the seed head emerging. Okay, let's find one that's just still in the boot stage but right ready to come out. And it's, okay, here is one that's very much, the seed head is just now starting to emerge. Right here is some orchard grass. Okay, let's see if we can rake around here. See that seed head? Look at that. All right, here is one. I'm not gonna pick it, but can you see that right there? Well, I may have to. Right there is one just starting to come out of the boot stage. Can you see that seed head just starting to emerge? Let me find a patch that's a different variety. Okay, this right here is tall fescue. Orchard grass, fescue. Okay, more orchard grass. It's just a Duke's mixture, and that's what we want. Here's some orchard grass. That is the Potomac variety, I'm almost sure. Of course, I could always be somewhat wrong, but you see no seed heads emerging. Even the stems are still, if you look at it as far as the stem goes, the stem is still way down in here. And it's just leafy from there up. Okay? The stem has not even come up very far. And rubbing on this stem, the seed head is way down in this stem. The difference between an early maturing and a late maturing. You can see those seed heads. It's just amazing, the difference. Okay, what does that? How does that translate to your hay? Let's look at that. So, and a lot of this is my opinion. I've not done a lot of studying on this part. These orchard grass varieties, from the reading I have done from seed companies and things of that nature, this is the early maturing, this is the middle season maturing, what you call moderately timing is when it's going to mature. Another very early maturing variety, my understanding, it makes really, all orchard grass makes really good hay. But another really good early maturing one is benchmark orchard grass. One thing to consider, if you're planting orchard grass in your hay fields, and I'm a huge proponent of orchard grass. Orchard grass on our farm is king. Animals love orchard grass. It's very palatable to animals. It's soft, it's very nutritious. It's usually high in crude proteins for grass. I'm not talking about compared to legumes, but for your grasses, it's good protein, it's very good total digestible nutrient. It's very rich in nutrients and micronutrients and all that stuff. Animals just love it in the hay, especially just like making a salad at a restaurant, especially when you put in some good Timothy and some fescue and some red clover and have that variety in your hay. Man, I'm telling you, when we had the dairy goats here on this farm, you couldn't hardly drag them away from the hay feeders. They loved this hay in a mixture like this. And I have found that our horse customers love it too. They love this mixture of hay. A mixture I think is good for animal gut health, for digestive health, especially feeding local. I've talked about that a lot. Buy your hay, if at all possible, from a local premium hay supplier. They're already used to the allergens and pollens and everything that's in your hay, in your environment. Those animals are already used to it in their environment, and it's not going to upset their digestive health and their respiratory health and all that. They're used to it. Early maturing, like this one. Okay, here's why. If I would have known 5 or 6 years ago, or 7, what I know now, I would have planted all my fields in this early maturing. Okay, you may say, why, Darren? You're going to end up at first cut with a whole lot more seed heads and stems in your hay than you would this. I agree, you're going to. However, even with this mid-season, mid-spring maturing, early summer versus earlier, you're still going to end up with seed stems and seed heads in a lot of this. Maybe a little more so with this, but you're still going to have it at first cut. Okay, let's fast forward past first cut. You've done your first cut. This early maturing orchard grass, in my opinion, and from reading I have done, from literature, from seed companies and everything like that, from the University of Kentucky. And if you don't follow the University of Kentucky's hay and forage programs, and you're a hay farmer, wow, you're missing out. And I'm a big proponent of the University of Mount Olive in North Carolina, down toward the coast of North Carolina. They do a lot of good, very, very good forage studies. Probably one of the best. But anyway, early maturing after first cut. From everything I've read from seed companies and universities and things of that nature, this stuff is very resilient. It bounces back from your first cutting quicker. And all orchard grass does pretty good. Potomac's going to bounce back. About any of the orchard grass varieties are going to. However, if you're looking for that edge to get better production off of your quality, I think you can't go wrong with going with the early maturing variety, because they bounce back a little quicker for your regrowth. They leaf out. The leaf to stem ratio, I feel, is maybe a little bit better than this. Although this is good, I think this is maybe a little better. I don't think you can go wrong with either. From a hay producer standpoint, I don't think you can go wrong with orchard grass, period. Every bit helps, especially when your acreage is limited like ours. We only have so much hay ground, and without going off our farm and leasing other fields to cut for hay and things of that nature, if we're staying right here where we have total control of our soil and what we're doing here, your acreage is limited. Ours is. Yours may not be, but mine is. You want to start cutting every little piece of fat off you can, as a metaphor, to get the best production you can at the highest quality you can. And right here is one of the keys to that, an early maturing orchard grass, because your second and subsequent cuts, I do believe you're going to get a better regrowth and a better volume from the early maturing orchard grass varieties than you will the later maturing varieties. Now, they're both good, don't take me wrong. We have had excellent success with Potomac. This is really the first year we frost seeded this test plot, and really all of our fields. Not this past winter, which would have been just a couple of months ago, but we frost seeded it last winter. Orchard grass mix, it was a mixture of the seed that we spread. We ordered it through one of our local seed companies, found they had it and could get it for us. And it was a mixture of orchard, timothy, and red clover. The early maturing orchard grass versus the mid to later, and whether it be Persist or Benchmark or whatever it is, the early maturing varieties, I think, give you a slight head start on your hay season, and at subsequent cuts after first cut, it's still going to give you a head start on those cuts. It's a win-win. From everything I've read, the early maturing orchard grass varieties are more persistent and have a better survival rate after mowing or cutting for your subsequent regrowths than later maturing varieties. I think early maturing orchard grass varieties is a win-win. Now, whether that variety be Benchmark or Persist or whatever, whatever variety you go with, if it's an early maturing orchard grass, in comparison to other varieties, I think that's the way to go. All right, enough about forages and hay grasses. Let's go give the Kubota a bath. Okay, folks, the Kubota is clean. Looks good, don't she? A lot of elbow grease went into scrubbing that thing, but it is finally cleaned up and ready for hay season. I've checked all the service records off, going down the list. The only thing I like to do on this tractor is put a little bit of couple of pumps of grease in each grease zert on the loader. Other than that, this orange machine is ready for hay season. Really pleased with the progress of our hay. I'm anticipating cutting the test plot probably maybe the first weekend or sometime during that second week of May. The main hay field in our reclaimed field is probably 2 weeks behind that. This early maturing orchard grass in our test plot and the rest of our fields that we frost seeded, man, is it looking good. Of course, we've done a lot of amendments to our soil. Can't discount that. I can contribute some of our early exceptional growth to that early maturing orchard grass. If you get out here and look at the fescue and Timothy and things of that nature, that early maturing orchard grass is half again taller than all the rest of it. Of course, the majority of our hay grasses is orchard grass, and orchard's king here. I really like orchard grass for hay in a mixture, but primarily the main ingredient in a bale of hay of ours is orchard grass, and with all those others mixed in. Maybe second week of May, we're gonna cut this test plot probably, weather dependent. Everything's ready. All right, thanks for being with us today as we cleaned up the tractor and walked around some of the test plot and looked at this early maturing orchard grass. If you're considering seeding orchard grass for your hay fields, I would strongly suggest the early maturing varieties. Whether it be Persist or Benchmark Plus or Hallmark, you know, whatever variety you decide to go with, I would highly suggest a early maturing orchard grass. Look into that, do a little research. I think it'll pay dividends. Those dividends may not just be huge, but nonetheless, they're dividends that will help your hay season along a little bit better. My goodness, has it been a beautiful day here on the farm. Gorgeous day. This is the day the Lord hath made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you so much for being with us. Hay season's right around the corner. It's coming up fast. It'll be here before we know it. Thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it, and I pray God blesses you and your family. And I pray y'all have a fantastic day.